Welcome to episode 9 of the BrainChip Quarterly Investor Podcast series. My name is Tony Dawe, Director of Global Investor Relations for BrainChip. Each quarter, I compile a list of some of our shareholders' most frequently asked questions, and I put those questions to a senior member of the BrainChip team. Today, I'll be putting those questions directly to BrainChip CEO, Sean Hehir. Hi, Sean, and welcome back to the BrainChip Quarterly Investor Podcast to discuss the December quarter and some recent developments.
Hi, Tony. Glad to be here, and hello to all of our shareholders.
So, Sean, before we discuss BrainChip's December quarter results, I've received quite a few emails and calls from our shareholders curious to get your reaction and comments on the recent market reaction to the emergence of Chinese AI chatbot DeepSeek. Do you see this as a threat to BrainChip or a sign that the market may be changing?
I definitely do not see it as a threat. I think it's nothing but good news. First of all, it creates more awareness of the power of AI. Um, it illustrates how powerful it can be and should be. Secondly, it's a great illustration of the power of simpler, smaller models and using the work of other models. And when you think about putting models on the edge, and particularly with our 10 strategy, a core element of our 10 strategy is that we have models that are substantially smaller, yet no compromise whatsoever to the quality of the output. So it just creates more awareness that smaller models are really important, and the ability to do that and not sacrifice any quality whatsoever. It just makes it better for people to be aware of what we do. So I think it's wonderful for BrainChip.
Thanks, Sean. In the December quarter, we announced several positive commercial agreements. Would you like to discuss our IP sales agreement with Frontgrade Geisler?
For sure. With front grade, first of all, obviously, I won't go to all the details because the final details are confidential, but it's a great illustration of kind of the sales cycle that people have heard me talk about in the past. It was a long sales cycle, went through a long evaluation. If you recall, we announced the collaboration, I believe, last summer before they actually took the license later in the year. It's also a great illustration of partnership. I personally talk to front grade executives on a regular basis. Their chip work is going exceptionally well. They're ahead of schedule on their design. We're super excited to see their end product come out. I'll let them announce their timeline. I don't want to take away their thunder. So I think it's just a great illustration of a couple points. A long partnership to make it and a long partnership afterwards. And we have big plans for the future years for front grade as well.
Thanks, Sean. The US Air Force Research Laboratory contract is also a significant opportunity. Are you able to elaborate on what this contract means for BrainChip?
Sure. The Air Force opportunity was a wonderful validation of our 10 strategy. And in this engagement, we are going to migrate traditional models into 10s based models. The US Air Force Research Lab saw the possibilities of not only the accuracy, but the power savings and the efficiency of a 10s model. So we think it's a wonderful validation, again, of our technology. It obviously helps quite a bit too, as we will work closely with still an unnamed subcontractor in the defense area. And I think that obviously creates other opportunities for BrainChip working closely with these defense contractors.
Well, that sounds really exciting, Sean. Bascom Hunter is another significant new customer. Although the amount of the deal is relatively modest, do you see the potential for this relationship to generate additional revenues in the future?
I see the possibility of all relationships to generate additional revenues in the future. I really couldn't comment specifically on what we're doing with Bascom Hunter, going forward. But yes, it's a really very powerful statement again of our technology. And when you see organizations like Bascom Hunter adopt it, it's just a really great proof point for us. And we look forward to great things in the relationship going forward.
Thank you, Sean. So turning to CES 2025, we've now seen a number of very informative and engaging podcasts and interviews posted on our website recently. How would you characterize our engagements with customers during and since the event?
Sure. I'll focus on the engagements because that's really what you're asking, but I do want to comment a little bit about the event. CES, of course, is one of the world's biggest trade shows, if not. And in there, you have leading companies from all around the world. When you look at the demographics that attend, it's just an amazing opportunity to meet with many, many potential customers in a single location. So it's a very efficient use of sales and marketing dollars to go there. So we had outstanding demos to show our people. We had a full calendar booked from all of our meetings from every single day and every single night. We advanced some existing engagements, ones that we're talking to, the people that I visit when I travel at different parts in the world. They're in Las Vegas. We had substantial meetings there to advance those engagements. And then of course the thing that we're very interested in at a trade show like that is creating new customer engagements. And we were successful on both, advancing existing relationships, existing engagements, and as well developing new relationships and new engagements that we're trying to now work on and commercialize. A little bit about the show itself. It was so interesting. If there was ever any doubt at all about Edge AI, you just simply had to spend a few moments walking the floor at CES. The number of use cases and companies that are deploying Edge AI it's truly limitless at this particular point. And one of my favorite activities when I had a few short breaks there was to walk the floor and see an edge device powered by some kind of AI and go up to them and say, what chip are you running your models on? Smaller companies are often saying, well, I use X, Y, and Z, kind of a commercial off the shelf one. But if I had the resources, I would build something very specific. And the larger companies are describing about their specific models, excuse me, specific chips that they're building. And the reason I share that, it just proves the point about an IP business model. The ability to get highly refined hardware for your specific use case and your specific end product is central to our strategy at BrainChip. So that was a very interesting part, walking the floor, seeing all the companies and saying, I want to build my own specific hardware.
Looking forward, what are your major strategic priorities for 2025? Could you also provide some insight into your expectations for the period leading up to our AGM in early May?
Sure. Obviously, we had some commercial success, not at the level we would have liked in 24, but my first priority is to accelerate that and accelerate that a lot, without a doubt. Secondly, there's some things you're going to hear about our roadmap. We are really accelerating our roadmap on multiple fronts on the Akita. This technology does not stand still. The market doesn't stand still. And so you're gonna hear things in the future months and at the AGM about very specific advancements we're doing on the core technology around Akita, very specific advances on certain models around TENS-based models. To me, the heart and soul of this company is always aggressive technical innovation. So that's our priority this year. Do better on our engagements, better on our revenue generation for sure, and push the boundary and the speed on our technology development.
I've had a number of questions from shareholders about how foreign currency risk exposure and how we might mitigate such risk. In relatively simple terms, could you explain that for them?
Sure. First of all, I think it's really important to recognize, Tony, that anything around that is an unrealized loss until it's actually moved. So nothing's really happened from a cash position. It's still sitting there. Secondly, I think it's important to look at history and realize that the Australian dollar is at a record low relative to the US dollar at this point. So, of course, we prudently have moved. We're just waiting for the right time to do that. I'm often asked, do we hedge? And we don't hedge because we know it's expensive, and we rather just wait for the right time to move the cash. As you know, we did a large capital raise last summer. That money is still there. When the time is right, we'll simply move it to the US.
Finally, looking forward to the current quarter, what can our shareholders expect in the way of commercial engagements and news flow?
Again, it's very hard to predict or foresee commercial engagements or for me to comment at this particular point, but I would simply say the following, even if it's related to CES. The engagements we're in are going well. We have learned a lot here at BrainChip. Our offering is stronger than it's ever been. So my optimism that I've expressed certainly in this second half of last year is carrying on, and I'm very excited for what the possibilities are going to be for this particular year. Around particular news flow, whether it's the engagements, I think you're going to see a lot about our roadmap, new product introductions, and hopefully you'll see some things as well around some very interesting engagements we're working.
Thanks, Sean. It's been a pleasure talking to you today, and I hope your responses to these questions will go some way to satisfying investors' appetite for more information about BrainChip.
Thanks, Tony.
Thank you for listening to episode 9 of the BrainChip Quarterly Investor Podcast with my guest, BrainChip CEO Sean Hehir. Episode 10 of the BrainChip Quarterly Investor Podcast will be released in May 2025. Until then, thank you for your continued support and have a great day.